You're watching Cheche live on Citizen TV. We've been focused on the ODM party elections for the past 2 weeks because we're told that this internal contest, scheduled for next weekend, will produce the team that will steer ODM into the general elections of 2017. So the stakes are high. So high that there's been infighting and calls for postponement. With or without that postponement, today's guests are in the race for the post of Secretary General. Budalagi MP Ababu Namwamba and Rarieda MP Nicholas Gumbo. Before the break, we were talking about party unity. Mr. Namwamba, how would you strengthen ODM?
In my mind, the roadmap to a stronger ODM is very clear. And for me, it starts on the 28th when we hold this historic NDC. First of all, the credibility of the exercise will go a very long way of demonstrating to both the party rank and file and even to the whole country that ODM is ready to fly and fly high. And so how we conduct this election in a manner that is free, in a manner that the delegates go back to their various homes confident that their will was respected, for me that is important. And then the team that is put in office, hopefully I'll be part of that team. That team has to quickly do an audit of ODM over the last 8 years that we've been together as a party and fix certain things that have gone wrong. One, there is this rhetoric, the rhetoric that comes from some of the high-ranking leaders of this party. Rhetoric like the party has got its owners, or
it's all about loyalty.
Yes, it's about if you do not agree with us, you can leave. That kind of rhetoric is very dangerous, and I would want to end that kind of rhetoric. Let it be known that this party is a movement, and the strength of this party is the ownership of this party by all Kenyans across the country. And we have seen the consequences of telling people to leave. You told William Ruto to leave, so he left. You told Musalia Mudavadi to leave, so he left.
Nobody, I correct that. No one told
so if these people leave,
that's not correct.
They do not strengthen the party. It weakens the party. I want to be able to be part of a leadership structure that ensures that we remain together, that builds our unit and protects the
Okay, very quickly.
Let me finish, please. Let me finish.
No, we're running out of time, and you've made your point, so we've got to move on, just so we can get as much.
I just want to correct one point. I don't agree with the statement that Musalia was told to jump. In fact, to the contrary, we pleaded with Musalia up to the last minute that your home is in ODM. So really, we have to be factual.
Well, maybe some people told him to leave.
I'm being very factual when people stand up in the open and say, if you do not agree with this, you can leave. Political parties don't work like that.
Okay, you both made your point.
You keep what you have,
all right,
even as you seek more members.
I want to ask you about a question about your relationship with the leader. It's apparently we have been very close.
The party leader?
Yes.
Yes.
And apparently we are disappointed that the fact that you were not endorsed, and going by the utterances of one Elizabeth Ogoro who said, perhaps there is a clique of people who are misadvising him. What's your position on this?
Mutegi, I enjoy a very cordial relationship with my party leader. My party leader to me is a political father. I have enjoyed growing up under his wing. But for purposes of this, and by the way, my relationship with him remains fantastic. You can take that to the bank and it will earn you some good interest. What I can assure you is that I'm not disappointed at all, because I did not need his endorsement for this election. The democratic spirit in me would not even allow me to seek the endorsement of my party leader. It will be disrespect to the party delegates. I have placed myself at the mercy of the party delegates because I have faith in them. And I have actually full support.
Yeah. But when you are saying somebody told you Ruto leave and he left.
No, I've said there has been a rhetoric.
Yes.
And remember, there has been a rhetoric. There are people who climb a platform and say, if you don't like this, that rhetoric does not come from the party leader.
He gave his take about strengthening the party.
From the party leader.
Let me give my take about strengthening the party.
No, you've already had your say before the break.
I haven't said how.
No, actually, we did ask you that question before the break. He was responding to that. And you've talked about consensus.
You have something burning you want to add?
Yes, please, just allow me.
Okay.
We have to look at the organs of the party, and parties that have gone ahead to maintain perennial strength work on their women wing, work on their youth wing. In fact, I think at the moment ODM is the only major political party in Kenya with a fully fledged women and youth wing. We need to look at the structures right from grassroots. from the Vijiji to the sub-branch to the branches up to the national level. If we have a strong and vibrant party at the national level and we do nothing about the welfare of our members at the grassroots level, then we are not going to have a party that is perennially strong, and we are not going to have a party that has a succession plan for this country.
Okay. Some of our viewers very quickly saluting you, Engineer Gumbo, saying that ODM and Kenya need brains such as yours. But then others, Kennedy, tell Honorable Gumbo that the delegates are not angels to know that he is a candidate. And then for you, Mr. Namwamba, I salute the Honorable Namwamba, but I'm very concerned about his hatred for Jubilee. Can you really lead the people of ODM with that kind of heart? Just to remind you that we in Jubilee respect and appreciate Raila Odinga. Remember that one day you will come round asking for a national seat, but our blood will have clotted as well.
I remember that. But you see, let my position not be taken out of context. When I talk about blood, I talk in terms of ideological distinction. That I believe Jubilee has got a certain political ideological platform. I have a certain political ideological platform, and they're distinct. And so I play on this side, they play on the other side. There's no hatred whatsoever. I respect Jubilee. I respect the president and his government, but we are just different, and that's just the reality of politics.
Going forward to 2017, this looks like the decisive moment for ODM. You know, and then of course there have been calls for the merger of code parties into one. You guys seem to be headed on your own. You know, how is this going? How is your election rather being viewed by the other partner parties in code?
I think there is a lot of excitement around CORD. I believe Wiper is preparing for their own internal elections. Ford Kenya, I believe, will do the same. And I believe that the constituent parties of CORD, when you strengthen them, you strengthen CORD. And so a strong ODM can only be good for...
Will ODM need CORD in fact?
Presidential flag bearer be?
Now
do you believe that it should be Raila Odinga?
Now that is a premature question, but as ODM, I believe that Raila Odinga still has so much to offer this country. He should have one more shot. That's what I believe.
I share the same view, looking at not just by what he stands for now, but by his history. I believe that this country will be much the better for it with Raila Odinga as the president.
Okay, unfortunately,
I think he deserves a shot at the
right. Unfortunately, I'm being counted down. We're out of time. So I'll come to you for your final thoughts. But I'd like to get the thoughts of our panelists. We've had a fairly interesting conversation here with these two rising stars of ODM wanting to be Secretary General. What do you think of how they've presented themselves and their case to ODM delegates, David?
Well, I think that they have different styles and approaches. I subscribe to a more visible campaign because, you see, this is not just about internal ODM affairs, even though the election is ODM. But, you know, they're addressing the whole country. There are people watching at, you know, looking at what is going on within ODM. So you are actually rising as a leader within ODM, but you're addressing a national constituency. And so how you articulate your issues, how you reach out to even non-members and to attract their sympathy. And word of mouth also helps to propel and project a candidate to election. So you know, I have a bit of reservations about Gumbo's approach. In fact, but he has a different view, and that's fine. I mean, I just think that perhaps he needs to strike harder, go out there, so we can also see him visibly.
My approach works all the time.
I'll give you an opportunity to respond. Mutegi, what do you think of these two candidates?
Unfortunately, we have not had Elizabeth Ongoro here, but I think of the two, one is stronger than the other. But my view is they may the best candidate to win.
Thank you very much. Sarah, I'll come to you first. Final thoughts? Anything that you want to respond to?
Final thoughts. At the founding of our nation, the founding fathers and mothers of this country had very noble, simple, very noble thoughts for our country. Very simple: fight poverty, ignorance, and disease. This was something which was very simple. They were not grandiose, but you realize immediately our nationhood was born. These very noble ideas ran into headwinds of negative ethnicity, corruption and bad governance. I think what I want to see, because that is what ODM believes in. ODM believes in constitutionalism. ODM believes in the original thoughts of this country. At the end of this election, I want an ODM that can clearly pass this message to the people of Kenya that with us, we go back to the original dream of Kenya. With us, we go back to a Kenya where every individual Kenyan feels he has a stake in the country. Because Woodwork, as long as a majority of the people of this country feel they do not have a stake in the affairs of this country, we will just continue going around in circles. That is what I want to see this party morphing into, so that we eventually deliver that dream for Kenya.
Sir?
My primary objective in this whole business is not just to be Secretary General of a party. My primary goal is an ODM government, led by a President Raila Amolo Odinga. That is my driving force, really. And so I want to be a Secretary General who will make sure that whenever we do nominations, we do them credibly and in a manner that engenders confidence and keeps our momentum going. I want to ensure that I run a party where the party rank and file feel appreciated and feel honored for what they do for this party. I want branches that are functional and that receive resources consistently from Orange House. I want leagues, all planks of this party, whether you're talking about the Women League, the Youth League, the Mainstream League, I want them functioning, because if the party is getting resources at the top and those resources are not trickling down to the branches, then really those resources are not being properly utilized. I want to bring a spirit of unity. All our people who reign for various positions across the country, especially our candidates in hostile territories, hostile in a political sense, in Jubilee strongholds, they were sort of abandoned in the manner in which the party, was supposed to give them support to fight the very difficult battles in those zones. I want to be able to bring them together. I want this party to show them that it honors them, it appreciates them, and it will require them again at the next battle. I want to be a consensus builder, not just a searcher of consensus, but to bring all our people within this party together. And finally, I want to open up Orange House. Orange House has been opaque. Our people complain that they cannot even reach their Secretary General. I want, for instance, to have an open day every month where anybody from across the country know that they can come to Orange House, and on that day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. they can be able to have an open one-on-one conversation with their Secretary General, giving this party back to its people. But bottom line, an ODM government and a President Raila Amolo Odinga. If that is not really happening, then I have no business being in this race.
Ababu Namwamba, Budalagi MP, and Nicholas Gumbo, Rarieda MP. Thank you very much for your time here on Cheche this morning. Thank you for sharing your positions. There are others in the race for Secretary General of ODM, so may the best candidate win. Our thanks also to panelists Ntegi Njau and David Makali. You've been watching Cheche on Citizen TV. I'm Udwa Kamimo. Do enjoy the rest of your week.